If I were suffering with stomach pain, IBS, constipation, immune failure, or multiple doctor visits for the same gut issue, I would take 5 steps to heal my gut. I'm Sage Joya. Upon completion of my immunizations as a child, I suffered with chronic constipation. I went to the bathroom once every other week, and the doctor said that was normal for my particular body type. My complaints were met with new market drugs. I was the poster child for antibiotic consumption. There was no help in sight. When I looked around at family and friends, it seemed to me that they didn't have any problems going to the bathroom, that it was just me. Finally, I gave up on the doctors, specialists, and hospitals. I decided to take matters into my own hands to restore my gut function. I took 5 working steps. Before I get into my formula, let me clarify any misconceptions that you might have about the gut. The gut and digestive system are the same. These 2 words are used interchangeably. It starts at the mouth and it ends at the anus. The gut and digestive system make up the mouth, esophagus, small intestine, and large intestine. The large intestine is also known as the colon. The end of the colon is called the anus. The gut and digestive tract have 2 openings. The first opening is the mouth opening, which I like to call the entrance. The second opening is called the anus or anal opening, which I like to call the exit. Remember this information. It is key for anyone who wants to exercise the power to heal their gut. Now let's get into the formula. These are the steps that I took to initiate good poop results. Step 1, I had to inventory my body. If you are suffering with constipation or chronic constipation, it is likely you have multiple gut disorders. I had several, but let's talk about 5. For me, I had multiple sclerosis. Studies now show a correlation between constipation and multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is a central nervous system disorder, and the gut is the enteric nervous system. These 2 nervous systems are having a communication problem. Therefore, it is likely the individual is going to suffer with either constipation or fecal incontinence, which could also be considered diarrhea. For me, I had chronic yeast infections. I took antibiotics for years. Studies now show that if a person is taking antibiotics, they should not take them any longer than 3 months. You can imagine my gut microbiome was destroyed. Between the antibiotics and I was also taking birth control pills, I had a hormonal imbalance, which means that I had too much estrogen inside of my body, which led to chronic yeast infections. For me, I had juvenile arthritis. Studies now show a correlation between constipation and arthritis. Typically, when you have constipation, you have inflammation inside of the body. That inflammation can lend to impacting your joints and your bones, thus leading to arthritis. For me, I had asthma. Studies now show a correlation between constipation and children with asthma. If you have constipation, it is likely you will have exposure to asthma. For me, I had immune failure. Studies now show the colon, which is the last organ on the gut or digestive tract, the colon has more than 50% of your immune system. This information contradicts what we were taught in the past. The reason this is possible is because the colon houses the greatest concentration of bacteria in the body. The bacteria in your microbiota regulate the immune system. Additionally, in just 1 drop of colon fluid, 1 drop, there are more than 1 billion bacteria. Research estimates our colon's microbiome to house 39 trillion bacteria. This means if you're constipated, you have a bacteria imbalance inside your microbiome. This is called dysbiosis, leading to immune dysregulation, colon malfunction, likely additional digestive disorders, and likely other body illnesses. This information about the colon is exciting, but why? With the colon having so much power over our healthy body, this is important. It actually gives you an opportunity to rehabilitate your gut health. I will talk more about that in step 5 of my formula. To continue with the inventory of my body, the inventory led me back to the fact that I couldn't go to the bathroom and my body was breaking down. The research I mentioned earlier didn't exist. For me, it was a simple equation. I couldn't poop, plus my antibiotics weren't working, so that equaled I'm sicker. I decided constipation was destroying my health and the medication was an unnecessary step. Without a word to my parents, I threw away my medication. However, I am clearly not suggesting that you throw away your medication. Do not throw away your medication. I wound up having a Herxheimer reaction. This means that I became very sick because my body was used to taking the medicine. However, since I was always sick, no one was alarmed. I went back to the doctor only to receive another drug prescription. But this time, I didn't take it. It was time for me to take a new course of action, which led to step 2. I had to change my diet. The doctor already told me I was allergic to eggs. Also, I wasn't allowed to use soaps, lotions, perfume, or makeup. It was a weird existence. In terms of my diet, I always ate a balanced meal consisting of meat, starch, and a vegetable. But somehow I felt like that combination didn't really work for me. On the flip side, growing up, I was allowed to eat anything I wanted. I always had a snack. Every Friday, I ate pizza with my mother. I lived in the land of fresh dairy, fresh cream, and sugar. I ate a Snickers bar every day. Maybe some of you can remember the commercial, Snickers satisfy you. But it actually didn't satisfy me in the long run. On top of the Snickers, there was a ton of soda in my house. After inventorying my body in step 1, I found out the following. When I drank milk, I felt nauseous. When I ate dairy, my yeast infections worsened. When I drank soda, my stomach hurt. If I ate too much sugar, my skin was itchy because I had eczema and it would flare up. So ultimately, I went to see a European doctor who told me that meat and chicken didn't work for my diet. So I became a vegetarian for 14 years. For me, constipation equaled immune dysregulation, plus multiple digestive disorders, plus food, drug, and cosmetic allergies. With that belief, I removed dairy, sugar, and meat from my diet. Today, I do eat meat occasionally, but I employ the correct food combinations to ensure it works for my colon. Let's move on to step 3. I had to continue with physical exercise. I had too many things working against me. I was consuming a ton of medication, mostly antibiotics. My diet wasn't conducive to my condition, and I was still trying to figure out my positioning with this thing called life. Staying physically active helped me to 1, manage my emotional state, and 2, it communicated to my colon that I was proactively trying to restore our healthy state. Not many people know the colon is a very emotional organ. It is listening to you. It is very in tune with your mental state, very in tune with your physical state, very in tune with your emotional state, and very in tune with your spiritual state. Contrary to popular belief, the colon is seeking your participation and helping it to restore ideal function. In the future, I'll create another video helping you to understand the power of the colon. It is the key organ on your gut tract. If it decides to check out, you are in big, big trouble. For now, I am making it your responsibility to remember body movement, whether it is a walk or a full-blown high-intensity workout, is a key ingredient for optimal colon health. Let's take a look at step 4. I had to become informed. I knew my colon was a major problem, but there wasn't many resources available to teach about the colon. Have you ever noticed that during primary education, instructors skimmed over the intestines? Millions of people don't know the colon exists, and if people are aware of the colon, they don't know where it is located in the body. The assumption is the intestine is not part of consciousness. Additionally, it is assumed it works on its own. Yet, at the time of filming this video, colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of death. That means the colon is not working on its own. I believe we need to know something about our colon simply as a preventative measure. Not knowing about the colon is similar to having a toilet in your house, but there is zero information on how to fix it. The assumption is all you need to know is when you flush the toilet, the remains disappear. Now I'm sure you're thinking, yep, that's all I need to know. But then when it backs up with waste, sheer panic sets in. That's the same mindset applied to the colon today. Give the body anything for the colon to digest. If the colon stops responding or you begin to vomit, pour Miralax into the mouth to force the colon to perform. But if you get a disease, it's perfectly normal to panic. Why wait until there is a problem? That's the reason ignorance is bliss until it's simply not. The colon is a very important part of the gut tract. And this channel is going to teach you the need to know information about your emotional colon. To continue with becoming informed, I went to an alternative health store in search of colon education. I found a book called Tissue Cleansing Through Bowel Management by Dr. Bernard Jensen. He spoke of the well-known Hippocrates, saying that all diseases begin in the gut, but he clarified it with a segue into the colon. That's when I began to understand I had to nurture my colon. I needed to build a relationship with my colon. I had to participate in my colon health consciously. Today, a lot more information is available, but it remains hidden behind the word gut. And most people think the gut is either the stomach or small intestine. In fact, most people think the small intestine houses the greatest amount of bacteria in the body. The colon is still the forgotten organ, but it contains the secret to your gut healing. You need to know about the colon. For me, becoming informed led me to the best course of action at the time. Step 5, I had to give water to both openings of my gut tract. Remember I talked about your power to heal your gut? Let's recap. The gut tract is the digestive tract. They are the same. It has two openings. The first opening is the mouth. The second opening is the anus, which I call the exit. I'm excited about the healing opportunities existing because the colon has an opening. Many people drink water, especially with the belief that tea, coffee, soda, and juice are water. But often people remain dehydrated. You can tell you're dehydrated because of symptoms like dry skin, joint pain, fatigue, or orange pee. You can watch my YouTube short on dehydration to learn more. That said, the water hydration is not reaching the colon. The colon needs water for ease of waste excretion. Additionally, sometimes people are too busy or embarrassed to use a public restroom, so they hold it. The longer the waste sits in the rectum or colon tract, the water is squeezed out of the waste material. Then it becomes dry. The longer it sits, the harder it is for the muscle to move it. The harder it is to move, the more accumulation of waste inside the colon. The more accumulation of waste, the greater the dysbiosis inside the colon. The greater the dysbiosis, you can expect illness to show itself on or inside the body. In my case, excreting waste once every other week was unacceptable. I labeled myself as a walking waste site. And since I didn't like the label, I took action steps to change it. I took responsibility for the help my colon asked me to provide. I had to move the waste. I refused to take another drug. I was finished with laxatives. I knew there are always multiple ways to achieve a desired goal. Insanity is doing the same thing, but expecting a different result. That said, I decided to step outside my comfort zone. I gave my mouth and my colon a good drink of water at the same time. The water hydrated the dry poop inside my colon instead of waiting for a laxative result. Instead of pushing and straining, the colon's muscle woke up and did its best to assist with the water's movement of poop. It felt amazing to accomplish my goal without drugs or laxatives. Of course, my 5-step formula wasn't the end of my journey, but it was definitely the correct starting point. For you, I want you to set the expectation of this 5-step formula. Don't just do it mindlessly. You are seeking 5 results. 1, to alleviate pain. 2, to hydrate the accumulated waste material inside your colon. 3, to activate the muscle movement for releasing the hydrated waste material. 4, to easily eliminate the waste through the anus. And 5, to begin restoring normal colon function, which will optimize your overall gut performance. This is a great starting point for dismantling stomach pain, IBS, immune failure, and multiple doctor visits for a gut issue that won't go away. And by the way, this is not medical advice. I am merely sharing with you the steps I took on my journey. If you decide to move forward, it is your choice. Right now, there are 4 steps you can choose to take. 1, choose to step outside your comfort zone to get a different result. 2, choose to build a relationship with your colon. 3, choose a commitment to take action. And 4, comment below which action step you are choosing to take first. After more than 25 years of serving as a mind-gut health practitioner, there is one piece of information I know for sure, which is if you are having colon gut problems, somewhere along your life journey, you're missing love. So from my heart to yours, I am sending you love on your colon gut health journey. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to receive more colon gut love.